Under the quiet shade of the Bodhi tree, Buddha sat in profound silence, his presence calming the surrounding air. His disciples had assembled at a distance, hesitant yet drawn to the radiant wisdom emanating from his serene form. Ananda, the youngest disciple, broke the silence with a trembling voice. "Master, how can I love without suffering?" Buddha smiled kindly, his face calm as a still lake. "Love is both a treasure and a burden, my child." He reached toward the pond beside him, plucking a lotus flower glistening with dew. "Observe this lotus, blooming untethered, though rooted in mud. It seeks the sky," Buddha said. "Its petals remain pristine despite the earth below. Similarly, our connections bloom in impermanence," he explained. "Cherish them fully, but release their grasping hold." Ananda leaned forward, captivated by the delicate beauty of the flower. "How can one master this balance?" "Master?" Buddha touched the flower gently, his fingertips brushing its surface lightly. "To hold without clinging. Practice mindful care. Let kindness guide each action, not fear or possession," he continued, his voice steady like flowing water. Buddha regarded him thoughtfully, his silence stretching briefly before words emerged as reflections of timeless truth. "Loneliness speaks of fear, Master. Impermanence frightens me," confessed Ananda, his brow furrowed with worry. "How can I embrace this truth?" Buddha's gaze softened as he spoke. "Impermanence is the essence of life. It brings depth to each moment. Only by embracing impermanence can we love deeply," he added. "To resist it is to resist life itself." The disciples sat in thoughtful silence, some with furrowed brows, as they wrestled with the contradictions in their own minds. Ananda, with his ever-inquisitive nature, broke the silence. "Love blooms precisely because of impermanence, not despite it. Each fleeting connection teaches us gratitude," Buddha shared. "We learn to value what is briefly ours. The key lies in cultivating compassion without attachment," he explained. "When hearts meet, they exchange gifts without claiming ownership." Ananda bowed his head, his fears beginning to dissolve. "I will try to learn this way, Master." "The journey toward understanding is lifelong," Buddha assured him. "Take each step mindfully, and wisdom shall grow." Another disciple, Sariputta, spoke then. "Master, how do we support others without clinging?" Buddha turned his gaze towards Sariputta, steady and unwavering. "Support is an offering, not a demand or control. Offer your guidance freely, but release outcomes," Buddha clarified. "Each soul must choose its path independently. To uplift others without attachment is true compassion," he said. "Do not burden your heart with expectations. Isolation can overwhelm initially," Buddha said. "Yet acceptance transforms it from daunting void into liberating depth." Free of constraints, the disciple gazed upward, the limitless sky sparking an internal question. "Master, how do we transform isolation into liberation?" Buddha's smile carried warmth. "Through surrender. In this way, we too must release and let grow," Buddha said, his tone unwavering yet kind. "Impermanence grants freedom, not confinement," he added. "Compassion flourishes from understanding oneself, fostered within solitude's reflective silence. Without solitude," Buddha said, "connections remain superficial, devoid of depth born from inner harmony and self-awareness shared outwardly." The disciple paused thoughtfully. "So solitude strengthens relationships, though seemingly severed by isolation's apparent boundary between souls?" Buddha gestured gently, his words pouring with purposeful depth. Each one found reflections of their own struggles and hopes. Buddha's voice carried gently through the evening. "To love without clinging is to honor life's impermanent gifts." The forest seemed to listen as his words echoed among the ancient trees. The moonlight grew softer, wrapping the gathering. Ananda met Buddha's gaze once more. "Master, thank you for sharing this truth. It feels less daunting now. As stillness enveloped them, the disciple felt solitude transforming. Its previous heaviness now softened into a soothing sanctuary of growth. Buddha closed his eyes once more, his presence merging with nature's harmony, his wisdom planted firmly within his disciple's spirit. The moon watched over them, silent witness to wisdom unfolding beneath its light. The lotus floated calmly upon the water. Another day, another journey. The Buddha and his disciples arrived at a vibrant village teeming with life and sound. The villagers greeted them warmly, offering fruits and water as tokens of their gratitude and reverence for the Buddha's presence. The streets bustled with activity. Carts creaked, and merchants called out, their voices rising above the laughter of children. Amidst the lively commotion, the Buddha's gaze fell upon an elderly weaver spinning threads into cloth with unwavering patience. The disciples watched her work, mesmerized by her deft movements and the intricate patterns emerging beneath her skilled fingers. Buddha approached her gently, his voice soft and respectful. Wise one, may we learn from your art and your wisdom? The weaver paused, her hands stilling as she looked up at Buddha with curiosity and humility. What do you seek, Master? He answered kindly. Your craft teaches lessons beyond cloth. How do you create threads that hold together yet remain flexible? She smiled, her wrinkles deepening. I choose the finest threads. Weave carefully, and maintain balance. Not too tight, not too loose. The Buddha turned to his disciples, his voice steady as he explained. Balance is essential not only in weaving but in life itself. When we hold on too tightly, we stifle growth, Buddha said. When we hold too loosely, bonds unravel and drift apart. The disciples listened intently, their hearts absorbing his words. The weaver resumed her work, weaving threads as lessons unfolded. Observe her hands, Buddha instructed. She weaves with care and intention, neither rushing nor hesitating, each motion deliberate and mindful. A connection woven with balance flourishes, Buddha explained. It breathes, grows, and strengthens without becoming burdensome or fragile. Ananda spoke hesitantly, his voice barely above a whisper. Master, how do we apply this balance to our own relationships? Buddha looked at him with warmth. Begin with mindfulness, my child. Attend to each bond with intention and care. Do not impose your will or desires upon others, Buddha continued. Respect their freedom to grow and change as they will. The weaver looked up again, her voice steady and wise. Master, my cloth is made of threads working harmoniously. Is life the same? Buddha nodded gently. Indeed, wise one. Harmony within relationships allows connections to thrive and endure challenges without breaking. Sariputta spoke then, his tone thoughtful. Master, how do we preserve harmony when conflicts arise among loved ones? Buddha answered patiently. Conflicts are natural, my child. Approach them with compassion, listen deeply, and release attachment to being right. Focus on understanding rather than winning, Buddha emphasized. Resolving conflicts with humility strengthens the bonds we hold dear. Another disciple, Mahinda, joined the conversation. Master, how do we prevent attachment from clouding our love for others? Buddha's gaze softened as he replied. Love is a gift, not a possession. Offer it freely, without seeking to control or dominate. When love flows unburdened, it brightens the lives it touches, Buddha said. Attachment weighs it down, dimming its radiant beauty. The weaver set aside her cloth, her voice filled with sincerity. Master, what becomes of threads when the cloth is finished? Buddha smiled gently. But this journey seems eternal, never yielding peace. Buddha gestured towards the flowing stream nearby. It sounds soothing. The stream flows endlessly, yet finds harmony in its course. Do not seek to end the journey, Buddha said. Your craft reveals truths that resonate deeply. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. The villagers gathered closer, their curiosity piqued by the Buddha's teachings and the weaver's contributions to the discourse. The weaver spoke once more, her voice resolute. Master, every thread matters. Do all souls hold equal value? Buddha's voice carried gently through the air. Each soul is unique, yet interconnected. Every thread contributes its strength to the fabric. The cloth is incomplete without the smallest thread, he explained. Each life enriches existence, however humble its role may seem. Master, the disciple asked, is this why you often retreat into isolation, away from us and the world's turbulence? Buddha nodded. Through solitude, I renew my understanding, finding truth not in the noise of life, but its quiet heart. Isolation, Buddha said, is not rejection, but invitation, an invitation to meet oneself and embrace the essence of existence. The traveler felt the weight of his despair lightening, replaced by the growing spark of realization and hope. Cherish the threads connecting you without clinging to them. The weaver bowed deeply, her gratitude evident as she returned to her work, her hands steady and purposeful. The disciples and villagers dispersed, carrying the wisdom gained into their hearts. Eager to weave it into their lives, the Buddha stood silently, observing the vibrant village with serenity. The wisdom of the moment etched into his soul. In this flow, Buddha continued, you will find that isolation dissolves, replaced by oneness with all that simply is. The traveler wept, his tears flowing freely like the nearby stream, cleansing his soul of accumulated sorrow and misunderstanding. The river carried twigs, leaves, and petals, flowing swiftly but serenely, its current undeterred by obstacles in its path. Sariputta, the elder disciple, turned to Buddha and asked, Master, what can we learn from this mighty river's journey? Buddha knelt by the water's edge, cupping his hands to let the cool current flow freely through his fingers. The disciples bowed their heads, their reverence profound as they absorbed the wisdom poured forth like a sacred river. Buddha closed his eyes, the silence enveloping them once more. A silence rich with the unspoken truth of the traveler's transformation. Ananda spoke softly, his voice filled with curiosity. Master, how do we embrace others while learning to release them? Buddha smiled gently, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of countless lifetimes. To embrace is to love without attachment. Love is a river, not a chain, Buddha continued. It flows freely, nourishing hearts without binding them to expectations. Sariputta gazed at the river, his thoughts deep and reflective. Master, what do we do when loss brings pain? Buddha placed his hands upon his knees, his posture steady. Pain is natural, my child, but suffering comes from resistance. Speak, my dear disciple, Buddha said gently. Tell me, what troubles your heart so deeply that it disrupts your peace? The disciple hesitated before speaking. Master, I struggle with silence. In it, I find not clarity but chaos that overwhelms me. Ananda, impermanence is not a curse. It is a blessing. Without impermanence, there is no growth, Buddha explained. Life stagnates without change, just as rivers would without movement. Mahinda spoke then, his tone contemplative. Master, how do we practice connection without clinging in relationships with loved ones? Buddha gestured toward the river once more. Observe how it flows around each stone, neither avoiding nor clinging to obstacles. True love flows freely, adapting to the ever-changing landscape of life, Buddha said. It embraces change as part of its essence. Sariputta asked again, his voice steadier now. Master, how do we love deeply while knowing we may lose those we cherish? Buddha looked upon him with warmth and compassion. Loss is not the end of love, my child. The breath, Buddha explained, is the silent refuge, unchanging and steady. In its rhythm lies the key to inner peace. It continues to flow within us. The disciples grew silent, absorbing his teachings like soil nourished by gentle rain, their hearts gradually opening to impermanence. Buddha stood, his figure serene against the backdrop of the flowing river, his presence like stillness amid movement. Life is like the river, Buddha concluded. It carries joys and sorrows, always flowing, always teaching us the art of release. Ananda bowed his head, his soul lighter, his heart ready to embrace life's fleeting connections and let go of fear. The moon rose above the horizon, its silvery light illuminating the disciples and the river's unwavering journey. Buddha's words lingered in the air, their resonance echoing like ripples expanding across the surface of the river. The disciples remained by the riverbank, their minds reflecting upon its lessons and the wisdom their teacher had shared. The river continued its path, unburdened by what it carried, embodying the essence of connection without clinging. Silence nurtures that harmony into blossoming truth. The disciple bowed his head, his heart slightly lighter, yet questions still lingered, seeking clarity amidst the depth of wisdom. Master, the disciple said, what if solitude reveals pain I cannot bear? How does one face such unbearable truths alone? Buddha placed a hand gently on the disciple's shoulder. Pain is the stone that polishes the mirror of your soul. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.